the First Minister's comments. The first is, I found the address very useful in that it began with something we often don't do, and that is to affirm post-colonial Africa's role in expanding university education in Africa. There are many people who believe that the imperialists left universities on our continent, when actually it was post-independence governments that built schools and universities. They might have caused a mess later with them, as Professor Mamdani has said, but essentially they put those institutions in place. Some of you will recall in Botswana at independence that essentially there were 2 secondary schools in the country, the entire country. You'll recall that after over 60 years of colonialism in Belgian Congo, called then, so-called at that time, when Belgium left, there was 1 medical assistant, because all doctors were Belgian doctors and they left with the colonial government. That is the kind of legacy you're talking about. So I think this affirmation was and is very important. Second, I think the impact of the narrow definition of higher education that was tied to our continent's need to build human resources in order to service our immediate public service needs has been very clearly articulated. We tended to see higher education in very narrow terms as preparing civil servants to run the new governments and not having this broader role of knowledge creation and creativity, which we would anticipate should be the role of higher education in a modern society. The third, I think, key issue is the indication of the constraint of poor financing of higher education on the continent, the constraint of political interference, the absence of autonomy and academic freedom, as well as the negative role that has emerged as the impact of donor agency advice on the progress of higher education on our continent, but in many countries of the Commonwealth. I think the address has much resonance for education at all